All right, Maddie, this is Jack Wild. I'm going to take an attempt at answering this question that you have about the bungee jumper because I had the exact same question and I made the exact same mistake. And I was also very frustrated. So let's see if we can take a look at this. So the question you're asking is, why did you get this 69.81 when the textbook says you should be getting a number closer to 2131? So I think the issue here, and again, full disclosure, I made this exact same mistake, is that the 69.81, that number is the position, it's the height of the bungee jumper when the time index equals 5. So 5 seconds after the bungee jumper jumps, her height is 69.81 feet. So velocity, and to get the average velocity that the bungee jumper is moving at that point, we have to compare where she was before and where she was after, and get an average and kind of zoom in on that number. So this is just the same graph that was in the textbook, but on Desmos, so that I could add a couple of calculations here for you. Yeah, so the thing about this is we're trying to figure out the average speed, her average speed at this point, right? Because at 5 seconds, she's at a height of 69.81 feet. And a second later, at 6 seconds, she's at 93.65 feet. So the difference between 93 and 69 is 23 feet. So in that 1 second, she moves 23.83 feet. So not unfair to say that her average is probably somewhere around that number. But as you can see, the second before that, she was moving significantly slower, and she starts to slow down, and then she really starts to slow down. You know, it's bungee jumping, so she's going back up, and then she's slowing as she gets, back to the height of that first bounce, and then she'll, drop back down. In terms of how to get there and the numbers that are in the textbook, so you remember the textbook is saying it's taking two numbers, 21.31 and I believe it's 22.25, and it's dividing them by 2, right? So that's just averages. So they're just taking two numbers and they're averaging them. So I believe that the 2131 is the result of looking at the average speed between 5 and 5 minus 0.1, which is coming out to 21.305. It's getting rounded up to 2131, I think. So at 4.9 seconds, her her speed is something like this, or her the distance that she's moved in this period from between 4.9 and 5 is an average of 21.31 feet per second, right? It's a tenth of a second, so she moves 2.13 feet. Okay, so then the next tenth of a second, which is 5 to 5.1, she moves an average of 22.25, right? So it's a tenth of a second, so she moves 2.225 feet. So all the book is doing is just taking this number and adding it to this number, and then dividing the sum by 2 to get the 2178 that's in the textbook. So I hope that helps. It took me a long time to figure out what I was doing wrong with this, and so when I saw your post, I was like, oh, I've been down that road before. I hope this helps, and if it doesn't, feel free to post another question, and I'll take another stab at explaining this. Thanks. Bye.